What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of Walking 90. Your number, I guess we're third on the list, as some people put us, behind the USL show and League One, something else. I don't know, whatever. But hey, we talk about USL League One on the show. You know, this is the only show where you get not the banter, you get the jokes that we provide you. And yeah, whatever. That intro sucked. Welcome to the show, everyone. Hi, I'm Elliot.
We're knocking off the rust. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
In a couple
We had a
weeks.
week off. Yeah, it's been a week. You know, Memorial Day happened, and then I hit the chat and was like, "Are we recording?" And you and both Ed was like, "Hmm." So no, sir, no, sir.
And I was I'm just getting back to Madison. I'm not unloading my car yet.
Yeah, I truly thought we were recording. And there's my lovely wife. Yeah, so all right, Kyle, let me ask you this. Have you seen the movie Center Chat?
No, I need a weekend without the boys that I can like just go and see it.
Okay, first of all, you're gonna love it. Two, well, now that ruins the joke that I had, but whatever, it can still work. Which USL team do you feel like would spoil a movie for you?
You know, it seems like I feel like if Bolt the Ibis was still active, I would pick him. Like, I don't even think it would be a team. I think Bolt would do it.
I agree.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of teams have toned down their social media in the league, but I would say Bolt the Ibis if they were still active.
Sure. I'll probably go with AV Alta because they would just plunder and plunder and plunder and just ruin it. We'll talk about that later. But man, we do have a lot to talk about. Which, by the way, before we get started, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Hope you guys are liking the audio podcast if you're doing it on Spotify. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. And once again, we're trying to get to 175 before we hit to Madison. So we do have a bunch of games to talk about. Let's start off with this Jäger Cup, which Kyle, why is the Jäger Cup all over the place? Because some teams played, some teams didn't, and AV Alta's already on 3 games.
You know, I think there was a stretch where it was like, I think what was it like? Monterey didn't even play a game, and AV Alta had played 2.
Yeah.
So, you know, I thought it was because last year I feel like it was more, and maybe it's because it was just League One, so it's easier to follow and easier to understand. And I was like, this weekend's Jäger Cup action. All right, great. Everyone's playing on Saturday. Omaha will play on a Wednesday, but this is Jäger Cup weekend. I feel like we're still getting that, but then it's like completely imbalanced because you got teams like Colorado who's played 1 match. You've got Vegas playing 3. It's just like very imbalanced for no reason.
It's very all over the place.
And especially because like in Group 2, it's like San Antonio, Colorado, Texoma, and Omaha have all only played 1 game.
Yeah.
And it's like they couldn't have played just this previous weekend. Like, why? Like, could we not have gotten any of those matches going?
I don't know. It just seems something that whenever they were doing the schedule, I don't think it should have just been easy. It should have just been we pick 4 weekends once a month. The way how it was played is supposed to be the last weekend of each month. So April, May, June, July, and that's when you play your game. And even with that simple logic, we still can't get teams to play every week because 4 teams in this group didn't play when they could have.
Right.
And why is AV Alta and Las Vegas already on 3 games with 2 months left to go in this competition? I don't know.
Well, it's weird because then it's like you get to the end of this month and it's like, all right, you got Friday the 27th, there are matches. Saturday the 28th, there's a lot. And then there's just another one randomly on 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Why?
No.
Why?
It does not. Does not at all. Well, my bad. I felt like should we start off with One Noxus since we didn't talk about them? The One Nox in the 11 game.
Yeah, we can do that. I feel like I don't know what happened to One Knox this past month.
I don't know either. You got a red card in this game, Skeleton. Amoy for Indy 11 scored in the 47th minute. I'm not gonna lie to you. The way how I see it, where's their group at? No, skipping over the group. Okay, yeah. Right now they sit third, so there's still a. Is there any chance for them to make it out?
It's gonna be really difficult to see just because Indy's already at 2 wins. Birmingham has 2 wins. And it's kind of like, I don't know where Knoxville is planning on getting. The good news, like, that's the tough part because it's almost as though they have to get a win either against, like, they have to beat Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll have to win that last game. And I think their last Jäger Cup game is, I'll have to quickly get it pulled up, but I don't know. Your last Jäger Cup is at Chattanooga. So really, there is a chance.
Yeah.
Like, there is a chance that they could do it if they win these last 2 games. And then if Birmingham or Indy were to stumble going into that final week. But the weird thing is Indy doesn't play in that last game. So they'll have already played. Maybe. Oh, no, they'll play. I don't know. This is I cannot follow theirs. But either way, yes, but they're going to need help. Like, they're going to need Madison to win against Birmingham in that last round in order for them to have that realistic chance. But based off of how they've looked, I don't feel super confident.
Yeah, same here. All right, so we move on to Wednesday. Monterey Bay take on Spokane Velocity. Really, not much to take away in this game. I mean, goal in the 5th minute by Galloway. Spokane didn't really do much. Only had 1 shot on target. Didn't really feel like much was going to happen. I mean, they had a lot of possession at the end of the game, but obviously that's because Monterey's kind of just like, hey, we already scored. We did the hard part.
Yeah, I mean, Spokane took a lot of shots. I think, like, if you look at the stats, they took like 20-something shots.
Yeah.
So they were just spraying and hoping for the best, but none of them were on target. A lot of them were outside the box. It just felt like they couldn't get an opening. There was no clear chances for them. It felt like Monterey got the goal. And they're like, we're good, just putting everyone behind the ball. And if you want to take a shot from outside the box and go for it, we will let you do that all day long. And it worked.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we see Spokane's record beaten there. They were on an unbeaten streak at that moment, but unfortunately, they are not anymore. Right now, they do sit 4th in their group with 2 games left. The good thing for them is they have a win. So, is there a possibility?
They can definitely do it.
Yeah.
Spokane had, like, based off of how they played, like, this was just an unfortunate stumble, but their next game is against Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. So they do have a chance there. They will likely need some help from, ironically, Avialta and Oakland to get some points off of Monterey, because Avialta and Oakland both play Monterey at their next match.
Yeah.
So there is a chance. I think out of the USL League One teams, they feel like one of the likely ones that will advance.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like they have the best odds of getting out of that group, I think. But yeah, they're definitely going to need help. Definitely with Monterey. Monterey kind of got an easy path because Oakland doesn't look like anything, and Avialta is probably going to more or less find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. Sorry,
Avialta's already played 3 games, so at this point, are they actually, like, the tough part is Avialta really going to try because they're out? Like, they're not going to be able to advance.
Yeah.
Like, Avialta's more or less eliminated.
Right. So we go ahead, we move on to what Ab like to call the group of hatred. Group 4, Westchester play Hartford Athletic, losing 2-3. How Penchester is going to Penchester. This, once again, both of their goals come from pins. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what deal they had made with the devil. But Westchester has found a way how to score another pin. 2 of them.
They just keep doing it, but they have not figured out the whole defending part at all.
No. So they sit at the bottom of the group for them, and I guess we can kind of have this conversation around a few teams. To me personally, I think after 2 match days, if either A, you don't have any points, or you're not in contention to get that third, maybe second place spot, I think the next 2 games should just be let's try some things, maybe get some rest, and see how it goes.
Oh, yeah. Like at this point, if you're Westchester, you're not, even if you were to win out, it's very unlikely you're going to advance. So at this point, use that to rest starters, or if you know you have a bigger League One game shortly after, go for that one. Like at this point, this should be more of the rotation, maybe throw in young, like this is like the rotation stage for this team, just because realistically, and it's going to be the same for a couple other teams. Like at this point, advancement out of the group is highly unlikely. So just save your players, get some other guys in. Maybe if there's someone that's injured, that you can kind of get them back to match fitness. That I feel like that's what you need to do these last few matches.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Oregon though. He's I think he just got named Jäger Cup Player of the Week, if I'm not mistaken. Scoring 2 pens there. But yeah.
When you score 2 pens, it'll give you a chance.
Definitely boost that player rating. Definitely will boost that player rating. Okay. So we move on from that game, and probably the game that had everyone shocked and talking on social media. Portland Hearts of Pine 4, Detroit City 2. And so when I was doing the Chaos BCS ranking for this game, they scored at 13, like very high score, because you had 2 players, Nathan James, I think, who just got called up to the Trinidadian national team, so shout out to him for that, and JT Kamara, both had multiple assist games. 4 goals scored. Now, I do feel like there has to be a little bit of a caveat. I think this Detroit team was more or less heavily rotated, but hey, Portland took it to them and more or less put themselves in contention.
Well, and I think the biggest thing was Portland was efficient. They were clinical. They had 5 shots on target, 4 goals. They only had 32% possession. They could have potentially wobbled when Detroit made it 2-1, and then they get the 3rd goal, but then Detroit scored again. I was like, okay, it's 3-2. Are Portland going to be able to hold on? And then they get that 4th goal, and it was very much a impressive showing. And this was like the biggest thing I've wondered with Portland is, where are the goals going to come from? Like, can this attack, are they going to have any semblance of attack? And this game was like, yes, they are very much capable. It was more of like we're just going to be more direct. We're not going to try and we're just going to have more of a direct style of play, which I think fit them better.
Yeah. I think the thing that's most impressive about Portland is they're finally starting to click. It's just about, can they take this momentum and translate it to the league and push on? We've seen it of late, but can they start to push on and move in the right direction of, because right now, I mean, they said 11th in the table, in the league table, but can they, eventually start moving up and getting to where they hopefully hope to be at? Because they got 5 draws, 1 win. So we'll see.
I think they can, but and we're starting to see more of an attacking side of them. I'm still not full. I'm not going to fully be like, yes, they're like, this is a big turnout. Like, maybe this is the boost that they needed, but we've seen from their Open Cup where we think, okay, maybe they're going to put together some results, and then it actually doesn't. And then it's like, okay, maybe not. That's not going to be the case.
Yeah. My bad. I'm trying to clear my throat. Probably the upset of the weekend, I have it as this: Charleston Battery 0, Greenville 1. With Zakowski scoring in the 44th minute. Greenville, a team that hasn't had their bright moments, found that bright moment here and gotta go. Gotta win, and definitely in a rivalry game against a a Charleston team that I would have predicted them to more or less have more control of this game.
I mean, they did have a lot of control. They just couldn't score.
Yeah, I was saying like this. It felt like Greenville of old. Like,
yeah, I was just about to say this felt like
it felt like Greenville of old. Like, like, all right, we got our goal, guys. We don't have to play expansive soccer. Let's just sit back and do that, and it worked.
They didn't take a single shot in the second half.
No,
they got their goal. And we're like, we're good. We're set.
If we get a draw, it's a win.
We'll take the draw. We will take this to Pence if it has to go to Pence, but we're not making ourselves vulnerable.
No, not at all. So, I mean, when you look at this group 6, surprising enough, Charleston's at the bottom of the group. I would have expected them to more or less be at the top, but
Miami's at the top of the group. That's the weird part.
Which is weird. Greenville gives themselves a shot. And I think that's all you guys for Greenville is giving yourself a chance to have an important game 3.
This next week will be very interesting for all those teams in that group, the League One teams, because Naples has Tampa. We know like Naples can't compete with them. Tormento's got Charleston, so if Tormento has a chance, like maybe they think we can win this, and then Greenville has Miami. So I feel like this next week is really going to define who is going to make it, because if any of those 3 teams are able to get a win, you have to expect them to feel like they're in the driver's seat to move on to the next round. So I'll be curious to see what happens, because in this, like, group 6 is one where even Charleston, they're not completely out of it. Like if they get the win in their next 2 games, they can maybe get second, but this group is probably the most balanced / other than group 2, this feels like the most everything. There's still everything to play for.
Yeah.
I would say like group 2, but half of them only played 1 game, so I don't know.
Yeah, so we still got to wait because of Jägermeister scheduling, folks.
That's a choice.
Yeah. All right, so we move on. We got Charlotte Independence 2, Lexington 2. They won on pens. Cheney, Cal, the guy that your team looked like they needed, got a brace, and he scored in the 93rd minute.
That's what he does. Like, this is exactly what Cheney does. None of this is surprising. It's frustrating. Like, I'm happy for him personally. I'm annoyed because obviously Ford Madison are struggling. And you would think something like Cheney could have solved a lot of problems for Madison, but he's doing well as expected. So happy for him, but also this is not surprising. The fact that they came back from 2-0 down was the most surprising part for me.
Yeah. I know we don't talk about championship teams on this podcast, but like Lexington, like you're up 2-0. And then Nicholas Firmino, I feel like the Nicholas Firmino red card really changed everything. But it's like, y'all up 2-0? Y'all blow it?
And it was like you were up a goal by the red card, so it's like you still had time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, y'all, like, I feel so bad for Crane. Like, just the women's team is bad, the men's team is bad. The only thing he got is that League 2 team.
Are they even doing that much better? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing decent. They're doing a lot better than the men's. So, Charlotte looks pretty impressive. They sit second in the group. You think they got a chance?
I don't know yet because I feel like
they got Loudon next, and I think that is going to be at the top of the game because if they can get a win there, or I'll say this: if they can go to PKs and get a win, I have them locked in as moving on to the next round because North Carolina and Louisville, one of those 2 teams are going to take points off of each other.
Right. And I feel like even if Charlotte doesn't win, if Louisville and North Carolina draw, I think that would still benefit them. I think they just need to make sure that they can at least get to the penalties against Loudon, and that Louisville and North Carolina, one of them doesn't win. Because I feel like if one wins, then that really makes it difficult because they could potentially jump them in the standings.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how all that works out and everything like that. So moving on to the next game. Ooh, Kyle, your boys. Chattanooga and Fort Madison. Y'all had a combined 3 shots.
What do you know? Another
On
1-1 draw for Fort Madison. God.
Oh, Kyle.
I just don't understand when, of course, the 1 year they're getting penalties. It's like, well, this is great. This could have been more useful last year, but I don't know. It's the same shit with this team. Like,
and the thing is, you had the possibility of winning, but the moment Chattanooga scored in the second minute, they were like, they took the grievance. I was like, all right, bet. We go sit in.
They were like, oh, cool, we got the goal. We don't need to do anything because we don't think you're going to score more than 1 goal. And they would be correct. And this was a little bit of a rotated, like somewhat rotated Madison. Like there was some rotation, but not enough that I was like, all right, like, I don't know. I mean, like, they didn't have Derek Gebhard, so that was a little bit difficult. But this was like the first game that McLaughlin was at least back. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, it's the same thing with Madison. They have all this possession and they don't do anything with it. And then they get a goal and it's a 1-1 draw. And there we are.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it got to be frustrating because just it's like the expectation you guys have had.
Well, that too.
Because, like, yeah, like
it feels like a hamster. Like it feels like they're just in a hamster wheel. Like no matter, like they're just going in place. There is no progression or regression. There's nothing that can at least you just point us like, all right, they'll have a defensive lapse of judgment, and they'll allow the other team to score, and then they're gonna huff and puff and not be able to do anything with it. I guess now we're gonna get a penalty. Pretty good at convert. Like now there's the aspect of they're at least drawing penalties, which they really struggled with the last couple of years. But it is still just one of those where, again, you have all this possession, but you're not doing anything with it.
So let me ask you this. Like, you guys said 6, but you guys have a point. Do you want to see y'all keep pushing in this? Like, game 3, go all out, and if you don't win it, punt game 4? Or are you cool with y'all just punting game 3 and 4, just focusing on the league at this point?
I think it's tough. I mean, the one thing, because if they win, they're at 4 points. And then they play Birmingham last. And Birmingham and Indy play each other next. So there is a realistic possibility that they can go in, win against Knoxville, put themselves in a position where if they can pull off another win, they can sneak into that second spot. I think they should at least try and go for it against Knoxville because that is a game they can win. Like, it's not as, like, I think they can beat Knoxville. Will they? I don't know. But I think they should at least go for it for that game. And then if they don't get a win, then you just punt on that final game.
Okay. Yeah, so that makes sense there.
And I feel the same. It's the same thing with Chattanooga. Like, if Chattanooga can get a win against Tulsa, you put yourself in that position. Like, I feel like Knoxville, Chattanooga, and Madison are all in the, if you win your next game, you still have a fighting chance. But if you cannot get a win, then you just punt on that final game.
So the next game coming up, we have a rematch of USL League One teams. Well, one team moved on. It's Richmond versus NoCo. And we should have had a pin. I wish Ed was here so I could get her opinion on it because, I was a Richmond fan. But I think it should have been we should have had at least one pin in this game. I mean, NoCo was slightly rotated for this game, so it's not like we went against like Olex and whatnot. We did see goddamn Rafa Mintigan again, the bane of my fucking existence.
I saw that. I was like, oh boy. I was like, this man, you rest.
Dog. He was on the bench, and I was like, all right, they got because North Carolina only had 5.
They didn't have that many on the bench, I think.
No, they had 5. Like that was including a goalkeeper. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, at some point, Rafa's going to come in this game, and it's going to just irritate me. And it did.
They made one sub. It was rough.
And I was just like, God damn it. But I think Richmond played well in this game. I think that defensively they played well. They improved a lot. Like, it wasn't as many gaps as it was in games past, like the Greenville Westchester game where gaps was just opening up.
Yeah.
Wherever North Carolina was going to score, like, they had to earn it, and they did. Like, the goal they scored was a really good goal. Like, I can't even front it. It was a header, hit the back of the guy's head, and just looped in. Like, it's not like he placed it. It just he put it in a place where Harder couldn't get to it. So Richmond doesn't have any points. I think we have Lexington and Charlotte left. I'm gonna be real with you, Kyle. Like, I was already cool putting this game, this like week one, like we played Louisville. I was like, hey, look, use this rotation, figure out how you want to play it for next week, and keep it pushing. Like, I didn't have faith in Richmond getting out of this group just because of the way how this team was.
It is a stacked group as well.
It is, but also, like, Darren has told us multiple times, like, when this team start hitting their depth, it really changes who this team is. Mm-hmm. So unless this team is going strength for strength, they can't play it like how they want to. And when you're playing Louisville, North Carolina, and Lexington or Charlotte, you know, it just kind of like, it is what it is. So you got Lexington up next. It'd be cool to beat them. If not, once again, I'll take PKs. That'd be fine. And then the Charlotte game, like, that'll be our fourth game. If Charlotte beats us, it's fine. Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. For Richmond right now, I think at this point, because we played the most number of league games, is like you have to manufacture breaks whenever they can be, because the league is probably going to be the most important thing for us right now.
Mm-hmm.
As other teams start to catch up to us. So we have to manufacture breaks. And I think, like, the end of June, when we play Lexington, use that as a manufacture break, because then you have a 2-week break there. You come back end of July, manufacture another break there, and then push on for the rest of the season. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm not losing no sleep over it. So we move on from that game. We go to Miami FC versus FC Naples. Real quick, shout out to Force of Naples. I was listening to their podcast today. They were talking about this game. They did a good job breaking that game down. So if you want to get in-depth analysis, make sure you go listen to them. But it
was weird.
I didn't watch this game live, but it felt as if a game that FC Naples is going to miss. Like, if you were up 2-1, you had it. But to let it go.
I think the bigger problem was they did what they normally do, which is, we're going to let you have the ball. We're going to try and hit you on the counter.
Yeah.
But I feel as though with Miami, it was kind of like that. It was just like a wave, and it just felt like how long you're going to be able to hold this off.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt like they just weren't going to be able to hold. It felt as though, like, yes, they're still sticking with their strategy, but it was not going to work in this particular game just because Miami just kept throwing things at them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, tired legs and everything with that. Like, I mean, Naples have played a lot of matches, so I'm sure there's, some aspect of fatigue playing into it.
Yeah, probably that too. Also, shout out to this FC Naples team. I think they got 2 players called up to the Puerto Rican national team, so big ups to them. Saw that out there. But yeah, man, it felt like a game in which if FC Naples wins this, they can comfortably put themselves on top of the group. Like, I mean, they still sit third. But, like, you win this game, or let's just say it gets to PKs, right? And you draw. You're sitting on 5 points, possibly 4.
Yeah, 4 or 5 points, yeah.
Right? And it just changes the whole complexion of where you're at in the group. Because now, game 3, you play against Tampa. We already saw how that first Tampa game went. To me, it feels like out of any team in USL League One, FC Naples is going to be the most prepare for that third game.
Yeah. I think the thing with Tampa is it feels like Tampa's kind of been more rotating in these matches.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Naples are going to go in feeling like we can beat this team. We nearly beat them in the Open Cup. We were close. We were a penalty kick away. We can beat this team. And I think they're going to have that confidence. And also knowing that if they are able to get a win, like the group is so close that a win really would be, they can be the difference between sitting first, potentially sitting second. But also, if you go to pens and you win on those pens, then you can once again, like, get that leg up and you'd be even with Tampa Bay on points.
Right. So the team that we just talked about, Tampa Bay, moving on to the next game, got a 2-1 win over Tormenta, who Tormenta. Yeah. Tormenta. Y'all, two, I give you one. The two.
And
you had this game.
They have this game. But also, why do you only make 2 subs?
Sir, that's above my pay grade.
That's like you got poor Connor Doyle running out there for like
you have Mason Turnbridge on the bench. Your best player, Aaron Walker. Like, sir, please put them in the game. Like, please.
I just don't understand I don't understand why they didn't. And they should have at least walked away with pens. Like,
right. And like Austin Pack, I just want to give him a hug. Like, it's okay.
He tried.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Yeah,
like 5 saves, and it's like you're still giving up 2 goals because your defenders are just not doing anything.
No. Like, it's starting to trend on punch struckness. And that's where we're starting to get to. And I'm just like, oh, this is not good.
Mm-hmm.
This is not good. And last but not least, Kyle, your favorite team, AV Alta, probably had the most dramatic game of the weekend.
Of course they did.
2-2 PK win over Oakland Roots, which they almost blew it because
that's all the damn team.
They almost blew it.
They got the penalty win when they should not have been put in this position in the first place. They give up 2 goals back to back, like literally bang bang. Like all of a sudden, I was like, "What do you mean they're down 2-1?"
Right.
I watched this and I was just getting annoyed. I was like, "This is the most AV Alta shit."
Mm-hmm.
I think Ebony and I were like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to go fight them because what the hell."
Hey, once again, another game in which they had 60% possession.
God.
Kyle, we're going to get you out to AV Alta just so you can sit there and watch it in person.
And the thing is, like, I keep saying, if you are neutral, they are the most entertaining team to watch, but they're also the most frustrating team to watch. Like, there's Ford Madison and AV Alta levels of frustration. Ford Madison's is because you know damn well it's the same shit and it's just not enjoyable to watch. While AV Alta is enjoyable to watch, but also the most frustrating because you know they can be better.
Well, okay, I'll put it to you like this. There's a scale. You have like chaotic defensively, which is Richmond.
Yeah.
And then you have chaotic offensively, which is AV Alta. And then you have chaotically neutral in the middle, which is Ford Madison.
Yeah.
And on that scale, you can go anyway.
And it's just, again, if you watch AV Alta, you cannot follow this league. Watch AV Alta and be like, oh, this team should be really, really good. And then you look at the results and you're like, what the hell is this team?
No. This team is all over the place, man.
God.
Like, I just wonder if training is nothing more than a bunch of rondos and, like, we have to control the ball.
And the thing is, I saw this coming from them because I looked at that roster. I was like, I don't recognize any of these defenders. I don't know where the defending is going to come from with this team. I knew that was I saw the team structure. I was like, there's no defenders. There are no defenders here that I can confidently say, yeah. And then it's like you have Carlos Aviles, and it's like, he's an okay keeper. He's not great.
He had another own goal. Like, okay, can we do this? Can we take Austin Pack and put him in AV Alta?
Oh, if you did that, AV Alta is storming the league.
Like,
actually, you know what? No, if you put it's basically Charlotte.
Yeah,
it's Charlotte of old. If you did that,
yeah, pretty much. So, all right. So that's all your league results there. Everything like that. Talk about the Jägermeister Cup. Cal, let's kind of think about it in this way. What team are you have the most confidence in getting to the knockout rounds? For me, I'll put Naples and Spokane. Those are the two teams I have the most confidence in.
I would say Charlotte and I feel like, I guess if I had to pick two teams, it'd be Charlotte and Spokane. I feel like Charlotte could do just enough.
Yeah.
So I'd say Charlotte and Spokane.
Okay. So I mean, that's the Jäger Cup, folks. I can't tell you what the next games are because the schedule.
I can. So the next round of games will be on. So there's Wednesday. So in terms of League One teams, Friday, June 27th, Rhode Island hosts Portland. And then on the 28th, which is the Saturday, Loudoun hosts Charlotte. Ford Madison hosts Knoxville. Greenville hosts Miami. Westchester goes to Pittsburgh. Richmond hosts Lexington. Tormenta hosts Charleston. Chattanooga goes to Tulsa. Texoma hosts Phoenix. Omaha goes to San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
And Spokane goes to Vegas. Yeah. And then I think, yeah. And then 4th of July weekend, Naples hosts Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So
4th of July itself, actually. Friday night, Naples, Tampa Bay. That is a good good end to the 4th of July.
Yeah. You might have to watch that one. Might have to. All right. So some of the league news popping around. Texoma is trying to break the attendance record in USL League One. Kyle, I'm going to be a grumpy old man, and I'm going to give this a thumb down. I
don't see how they do it.
It's not even how they do it. I don't understand what our team's obsession about breaking the League One attendance record. Because yeah, it's cool you broke it, or like you can sell a bunch of tickets at say like $2, $3 or wherever the normal price is, right? And you get an influx of people in. But my thing is, what are you doing to retain these people?
That's the biggest thing for me. It's like breaking a single game is cool and all, like sure, whatever. But I think the more impressive thing is if you can have the average attendance.
Yeah.
I think that speaks more to what you're doing than just a single game. Because as you said, you can say, yeah, we had this high attendance. But if you're either giving tickets away or selling it for cheap or whatever, it's not that impressive. If you're going to have, say, 5,000 one day, and then the next week you only have 1,000, it's like, okay, well, it is what it is. So I always view average as that's the more notable one, because that means it's sustained. Whatever the club is doing, they're doing a good job at making sure not only people come, but they come back. Or the season ticket holders like get more, like you keep those season ticket holders invested.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's, how can I say this? I think it's cool for Texoma to try to do it, right? They haven't had the biggest of crowds this year. I think they average about 1.2, 1,200 fans per game. I struggle to see them getting 6. I think the record is at 6 or 7.
It'd be just over 6 because I think Portland had, I think Portland had like 5,700.
Yeah, but even still, like I still struggle to see like you knocking that. My thing is focus on getting to 3,000. Like, why are we worried about the league record? First of all, you need to worry about on the field, but that's a different story for a different day. I don't know. I'm not trying to be. Well, I am being grumpy old man about it. I just don't see why teams are so obsessed with the League One record. Is it just to say like, oh, we broke the record, and don't worry about every other game where we had less than 1,500 fans here?
Right. I think I think it's kind of like one of those where that was always the bigger thing because I forgot what year it was. It was like, yeah, this team may have gotten the single game record, but it was like you weren't even in the top 3 for average. So like, what good does that do if you may have gotten this like single game and it was really, really impressive, but if you're not doing anything in terms of averages, it doesn't matter. Like it does not, like that's why it's always funny because it's like, oh, why does the league always keep like propping up Richmond and Omaha and Madison, and especially like Richmond and Madison haven't really done well lately. It's because they keep consistently drawing people to their game.
Right.
Like if you look at the average attendance, it's always Richmond, Madison, and then it was kind of like everyone else. And I think this year's it's going to be a little bit more of a shift where it's like, okay, it's like, yeah, Richmond's still going to have people show out. Now you got Portland, Spokane seems to be on the right track. I mean, Madison will always hover around that 4,000. You got Portland, you got Spokane now, like getting into it. So I think that is going to be the more impressive thing. Is like, show me what you can do for a sustained period of time, not just a one-off.
Right. Oh, that's not gonna work. Yeah. Okay. So this is the other thing about like Portland. Like Portland, now I will give them their credit. They have sold out. You can't buy a single game ticket, right? Mm-hmm. It is impressive. But like it's not as if like, you know, it's the new deal there. It's a new buzz, right? Yeah, like, I want to see it. This is no Dr. Portland. I just want to see it sustained over the course.
That's why it's like if you look at AV Alter and Naples, it's like they've had 5 or 6 games out, and they're still consistently getting around 4,000. And it's like, okay, that is pretty good. That's pretty impressive. Like even after 5 or 6 games, the newness has worn off, and now you're still getting this turnout even after like the stretch, and especially if you're AV Alter, it's like maybe you're not having the best success in the league.
Yeah, so like Portland, it's at 5,000. Richmond's at 5,000. One Knox is at 4. AV Alta's at 4.
But they've only had that one league game as well.
Yeah,
with One Knox.
True. And Naples is at 4. So okay, you're right. So we'll take One Knox out of it. You have 4 teams right now hitting 4,000, which is impressive, right? Like, I think they got a more detailed view. So yeah.
And that's not like Madison's, I think, at like 3,600. They've only had 3 home games. Like Omaha had their 1 home game so far. They had like 3,000. So it is kind of like, okay, like I'm sure we'll get to a point where half the league will have potentially 4,000 or just around at least 4,000, or if not really, really close. And that's good. That's a good sign. But then you kind of have the exact opposite where you look at Tormenta and Charlotte and Texoma and Westchester, and you're kind of like, oh, this is like what's
going on. Well, the thing is, like, we know Tormenta relies heavily on that college market. And it's probably if I'm not mistaken,
it is the smallest. Like,
yeah, I think it's the smallest market, right? So, like them, I feel like Tormenta, like if they get average 1,000 every game, I think that's a success.
And I feel like they just got to get to the school. They just got to get to like September,
right? Charlotte, they are the only team in a pro market, so they're having to deal with the Hornets, Charlotte FC, the Carolina Ascent, and a multitude of other sports going on. So it's not the main thing there. So like these two, like, okay, that's explainable. Texoma, you're at 12. I mean, you're at 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how you think you about to hit 6. Like unless you were selling tickets at $5 a pop, are you just handing out tickets?
And even then, are you going to get 6,000 people in Sherman, Texas to do that?
And you've already had 6 games and you haven't hit that yet. So I don't understand why this obsession of trying to break the league attendance record. Westchester and Greenville, they don't have their own stadium, so you can kind of be like, even though this is impressive, this is still like they're temporary grounds, right?
Yeah.
Chattanooga, they barely try.
Considering the lack of effort Chattanooga's putting in, the fact that they got 2,000 is not bad for the lack of effort. Spokane, I'm really curious what the hell is going on.
I'm shocked at that because I would have sworn it would have been higher.
Because they were
the only
higher last year, significantly higher last year. I think they were like double this.
Yeah. So I'm shocked there. Madison, Kyle, will you say this is fair for Madison right now?
I think right now, I mean, it's still like early. I feel like it's early in the season. Weather is always a big variable. And I think it'll get better as the summer kicks in. I think it'll get a little bit better. There's less stuff going on. But I think this is fair. I think Madison's always been around this. So I think I can see them getting 4,000, but this is probably about what they're going to do.
Yeah. I'm just going to go look at last year's real quick and see what it was. So yeah, Richmond, Madison was at 4. Spokane was hitting almost 4. Water was hitting 3. Chattanooga was about the same. They were at 1,000.
Greenville's about the same. Tormenta's slightly lower. Charlotte's slightly lower.
You see Tormenta bumped up a little bit more, hit that 1,000 mark. Charlotte hit 1,000 eventually. And Fuego was just subpar. So yeah.
And I don't think Noco was ever that high, to be honest.
No. They're including the final, maybe, but I doubt it.
But last year, no.
Yeah, I doubt it still. So we got that. Next up, Kyle, is our favorite thing that we love to talk about: the USL Chaos BCS ranking. So if I could pull it up, distract the people, Kyle. Pull out the magical goat.
All right, so honestly, I feel like the Chaos BCS has started to level out. I think we're starting to see a little bit more consistency. Most of the teams are going, like, what you're seeing is probably what you're going to expect the rest of the year, pending some drastic change, is what I will say based on the performances of a couple of these teams. So I feel like we're starting to get to this is who they are.
Who was the NFL coach who said it? You're as good as your record says you are.
I think that was Mike Tomlin, to be honest.
Yeah. You're as good as your record says you are. So yeah, a lot of teams, their record or their Chaos BCS record tells you who they are. So I'll give you the top 4 right now. You got Spokane at number 1, Richmond at 2, Charlotte at 3, Tormenta at 4. For the first time in a while, Texoma is not at the bottom. They are 13th.
Look at them go.
And Chattanooga is 14th.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That sounds about right with Chattanooga.
Now, Portland did have a big jump up. They hit 5th, but that's also because of this big Jägermeister game here. And what I've learned doing this is not going to be perfect until we get all these games completed and we start getting to around maybe game 20.
Yeah, I feel like we got to get to like a ballot. Like once all these teams have played like around the same number of games, it'll be a lot.
Dude, it is so annoying. Like, I still do not understand why we cannot have a balanced schedule. It's not that hard. We have 14 teams.
And again, it's only going to get it's going to probably make things more difficult for the league when they add 6 teams next year.
It's 20 then. That should make it easier.
No, but that's the thing. We thought this year it was like, 14. And now you don't have to deal with the logistical nightmare that was NOCO and Fuego. And yeah, here we are, still struggling.
You know what gives me a little bit of hope is that the USL Super is before the season even ended, they had their schedule out. They were like, "Here's the schedule for next year. You can start planning."
Mm-hmm.
I want that for USL League One so badly. So that way in November, December, I can start making my plans. Not freaking January and try to figure out, well, maybe I can make one road trip if I save up my pennies.
Like, no, I want to be able to like look at this guy. I want to be able to know, like, hey, I'm gonna need to go to this on this day. And like just have it booked. And like, let me get this booked, or let me figure out if I'm gonna drive there if you live close enough. Like, can I do this as a road trip? Is this going to be a short flight? Can I take a train, etc.?
Right. Like I've looked at it. Charlotte is probably the easiest one to get to because obviously my wife lives there. It's 4 hours. The next one is Greenville, but I would have to stay overnight to do it. And then from there, Westchester, I feel like is a train ride. No, I would have to fly into LaGuardia, which
I was gonna say probably
sucks. And then after that, I have nothing.
I mean,
what's the closest one for you? Is it Union?
It's either Omaha or Chattanooga. I think they're about the same, and they're both basically like 8-hour drive.
Yeah, no.
I truly think. Let me look it up because I think Chattanooga is okay. Chattanooga is an 11.5-hour drive.
Ooh, no.
And then Omaha, like I said, I think Omaha is like 8 hours. Okay, Omaha is 6.5 hours. Chattanooga is 11.5. Knoxville is 10.5.
Yeah.
And those are the closest ones. I'm sure Texoma is probably like 20 something.
Does Texoma even have an airport? Or are people flying into Dallas and then just?
I mean, I probably would just fly into Dallas or even, I guess you could fly into probably OKC.
Probably. All right.
Yeah, I feel like you either fly into Dallas or OKC and then drive.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going out to Texas.
And I was going to say, the teams that are coming in, it's not going to be easy. I mean, the only good thing is Fort Wayne will be a much better drive for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm still praying for a team in the DMV. Will I get it? Probably not. Probably never. They don't got it posted on here. They post everything else, but they don't got this posted. Whatever. All right, we're going to talk about it now. Portland Hearts of Pine is supposedly now offering to pay. Well, how can I phrase this? They are offering to pay for a tattoo of the club or any type of Hearts of Pine memorabilia you want. Kyle, how do you feel about this?
I mean, I guess if you want, like, I'm not going to knock anyone that does it. It's just an interesting thing to do within the first year because it's like, okay, you are really expecting these people to be like there every single year. I'm not going to knock anyone that gets it. I'm just surprised they're doing it. It's a choice.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it feels very brand, like on brand.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. They're the hot new thing. Everyone loves them. They can't do no wrong. Everyone loves them. But it's also just like all right, y'all. Like, why are we doing this?
I mean, I think they're in the strike while the iron is hot, and we're just going to keep throwing. Like, we have this wave of momentum. We're just going to keep throwing things and see what sticks.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, the marketing is amazing for them, and it's working. And
yeah.
if you can get people, the more people talk about you, you stay in the public eye.
Especially in that region where it's like, I mean, there's not
Yeah.
much else. So, like, you may as well be like the talk of that region.
So.
Because then it's like, because it's the same with like Vermont. It's like, all right, like, hey, you got this thing. And especially in that region, probably not much else going on. You can take advantage of that. You're not competing with these pro sports teams or like a big university.
No. So, I mean, hey, more power to them. I wonder how many people are really going to do it.
There will be at least one. I feel like it won't be that many, but there will probably be at least one.
Yeah.
But then I'm going to be like, are you actually a fan or are you kind of just like a plant?
And I think that's my biggest thing with Portland Hearts Upon. Like, I know there are true passionate fans, right?
Right.
And I've watched their little documentary. It's actually very good. Like, the stuff they're doing are fine. I think what irritates me is like, I think it's the same thing that irritated me with y'all before Madison. Y'all was like the flavor of the moment. Everyone loved y'all. And it was like they could do no wrong. And every jersey they put out is God's gift to kids. Or every little thing they put out is like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And so authentic. And it's like, y'all, we do not have to glaze everything this team does.
And that's why I can't be over here like hating, like calling it out, because it's like I literally was like Fort Madison was that for the longest time. So I can't be over here being like, all right, Portland, you're kind of being tacky. You're doing like, no, like I literally saw my team do this exact same thing in 2019.
Yeah.
So I will say the Portland, the heart kit that was, I don't think it was that good. And I feel like everyone's trying to make it that look. I feel like we were lying. That one, I'm like, I don't know. I think we're overhyping Portland's away kit. The home kit, beautiful.
Yeah, the home kit is dope. Like, I'm not going front. Like, the home kit is dope.
Yeah.
But, like, just like y'all, not everything. Like, okay, even this kit, I love it because Richmond has never done a collar and they've never done long sleeves. And it's something I've always wanted. So I love it. But I also know this is not like God's gift to kit design either. Like, this isn't the groundbreaking kit that's going to revolutionize the kit game.
Yeah, and like, I mean, there's a lot of Fort Madison kits where it's like, I don't mind it. It's not my favorite.
I would never forgive y'all for having that fucking reversible kit.
Honestly, I keep forgetting about that. I forgot. Like, I have the kit. I just forget about it.
I want to go back and watch the game where y'all were flipped the kits in the middle of the game.
Oh yeah, no, they flipped it at halftime, and I think it was ironic because like in the first half they were winning and they had the kit, and then they flipped it, and then they blew the lead, and then ended up with a draw. I remember that.
I want to know, was that a fine in any way? Because you're not supposed to do that, are you?
I think they got a one-off okay for the league because I feel like they wouldn't have done that if they didn't get the okay for the league.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I figured they got this okay one-off because, again, I'm sure the league was like, oh, no, we can let Fort Madison do this. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, hey, USL League One was riding that hype train. I feel like Fort Madison, and I'm surprised I haven't seen more Fort Madison fans upset at Portland because there's like, Fort Madison like, no, this is our stick. We're the brand. And now they're being replaced by Portland.
I feel like, I think right now it's kind of the we'll wait. I feel like it's more the we'll wait and see. If Portland continues doing this, maybe there'll be more emotion that comes out. But I think right now it is kind of like they're the new thing. And like they've been building, like they were selling Portland merch before they even had a team announced officially. So it's kind of like, we've kind of seen this. We've all seen this coming, but I don't know. I think it's also like with Fort Madison. I think there was like I still think it's still the brand. Like if you still think of USL, like if you ask someone, name the top 3 like most well-known USL League One teams, Fort Madison's still going to be like that one of the top 3.
Yeah. I mean, people still wear y'all jerseys because it's cool.
Right. And it's like they still put it like the keeper one for the Asian Pacific Islander month. Like both those keeper kits are amazing. I will fully like, and I think they still like because Fort Madison still has a capability of putting out something that's like Oh no, we still are like, we still think we're the top ones. We will put something out to remind people of it, almost.
Yeah. So yeah. So,
but I don't know. Tattoos feel like I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. What will Forward Madison have to do for you to get a tattoo?
Pay me. Either pay me or like let me have my season, like next year's season tickets for free. Either way, like I'm not just gonna go because I've sometimes thought about maybe I should get a Forward Madison tattoo, but I've never fully gone through with it. But no, if they gave me money to do it, or they said, "Hey, 2026, you don't have to pay for your season tickets," I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know how much money that would save?
Oh, who you telling? I think for Richmond, I ain't gonna lie. 2022, I gave it some thought. I did, because I was like, all right, if we win the final, do I get it? Like, do I do it? And I mean, obviously we did it, but I thought about it. Yeah, I think for me,
okay, if Forward Madison were to win a title, if they were to win if they won a championship, I think that would be enough for me to do it.
Yeah. That, and for me, it can't be like Jäger Cup.
No, it would have to be like
League or US Open Cup.
Yeah.
Like one of those two.
And even then,
one of those two.
I feel like that would be like the closest. But then again, I didn't even get a tattoo of the Bucks championship.
Yeah, true. Well, you see, you didn't get that. Now,
well, I was close. The thing is, I realized what I wanted to do. I knew yellow was not going to look good on my skin, so I couldn't do the Larry O'Brien trophy, so I just scrapped it.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to lie to you. Let Tennessee win a Super Bowl. Boy. Woo, I'm making a whole fucking back piece.
Cam Ward back piece right there.
Hey, I'll donate to his kids' future foundation fund. Cam Ward lead us to the Super Bowl? Hey, Cam, sign right here. Right here.
Like I said, I was close with the Bucks, but I knew gold wasn't going to look good on me, so it's kind of like, and then I feel like the moment's passed.
Yeah, whatever. I'll try it. All right. So before we wrap up this week's show, let's talk about these games that are going on. This is the first time in this season every team will be playing. We are 11 games in.
We're 11 games in and
third
3 full months of games. 3 full months of games.
Jesus. You know what? I just need to sit in the room with whoever sets the schedule, and they be like Portland. We want to wait a month and a half. No, you don't. No, you don't. You gonna play on this road? You gonna play on this road?
You see Madison, you see Omaha. They're going on the road all the time. You're just gonna have to adjust.
We gonna backload the schedule, baby. You not
book that ticket to Florida. Book that ticket to Naples right now.
Right. You hitting this road.
You want to go to Greenville? Great. You're going to Statesboro, Georgia in March.
You better learn AB
first
also,
game
buddy.
of the season.
It's not hard. It's not hard. And I get it. Like, some of these teams don't control the stadium they're playing, because I think AB also has theirs, Charlotte owns theirs, Chattanooga owns theirs. Greenville, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, Westchester is yeah, I think those are only two.
I think Greenville and Westchester are the only ones that don't. And I know like Knoxville. I think Knoxville is just waiting for
Union Omaha. Yeah. But like we're talking about 3 or 4 teams. We can all start at the same time. And if we need to have built-in breaks like we're supposed to, guess what? We can do that.
Or you start road heavy and then you have a very home heavy stretch. Like that's fine too.
You know what, Kyle? They just need to put us in charge of the schedule next year.
It would be the easiest. We could do a better job than the league.
I feel like we could. Like, I feel like we would just have to, like, okay, look, figure out the derbies. Let's spread them out across the year. Figure out what teams get the marquee matchups on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
Spread it out a little bit. Like, granted, I love that Richmond is displayed on CBS 6, but we should also need to spread this out. Like, AV Alta has an amazing network. Amazing atmosphere. FC Naples has an amazing atmosphere.
Portland.
I mean, God, they're getting one soon. Madison. I don't think Madison has Madison had a CBS game?
Not. They had the ESPN2 game against Tormenta a couple years ago.
Okay. But yeah, not CBS. Okay.
And so, this weekend, they're on the Golazo Network at home against Omaha.
There you go. So, yeah. So, let's spread this out. But let's start off. Chattanooga versus Portland Horse Pond. Oh, buddy. I think we already know how this game is going to go. Portland is going to be like, fuck the ball. 30% possession. Portland is going to be riding off of the high horse because they beat Detroit 4-2. How do you think this is going to? Let me ask you this:
Chattanooga's been quietly solid.
And this is the other thing too, because I was asking Alex about this League One updater. I was like, "Yo, who right now is your coach of the year?" And he was like, "Oh, it's Scott." And I was like, "Yeah, it's Scott." Like, yeah, what he's doing with Chattanooga,
like either him or Matt Poland down in Naples.
Yeah,
like if it was one of those two,
I would go with Scott just because he's doing more with less.
Yeah. And I think we all expected Naples to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
A lot of us expected Chattanooga to be sitting at the bottom.
I mean, right now, if they win,
if Chattanooga wins, I mean, they still won't be, they won't move up in the table, but then they'll only be possibly within 4 points of Spokane.
Yeah. So, how are we?
I'm going to say a draw.
You're going to go draw?
I think it being in Chattanooga is what gives me that slight. I think it's going to be a draw.
What's the weather?
Let me look. Chattanooga weather.
You know why I'm asking that.
Oh, yeah. We got to see if we're going to have another ridiculous. Oh, my God.
Is it going to rain?
Bruh. Okay. So.
Don't tell me it's going to rain.
Wednesday, so tomorrow, looking pretty good. Partly cloudy, 86, humid. Thursday, humid, 87. Friday, 43%, thunderstorm. Saturday, thunderstorm, 60%. We might not have a game that day, to be honest. So it could rain the night before.
Give me Chattanooga. Give me Chattanooga. Give me Chattanooga. That field is probably the greatest home field advantage.
Yeah, I'm looking at the weather Friday. Partly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Chance of rain 40% in the day. And then at night, scattered showers and thunderstorms. 50% rain. And then you get the Saturday morning and the chance of rain is 60%.
Yeah, just give me Chattanooga straight up.
Yeah.
No ifs and buts about it. And that's just based on the weather.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's that pitch being waterlogged and slows things. Yeah. I'm still going draw, but
you know they're gonna turn on those speakers. Like, hey, turn those speakers on Friday at noon and just keep it going.
There you go.
All right. Next game we got Greenville Triumph, FC Naples. Greenville's coming off a win against Charleston. FC Naples coming over the disposal game against Miami FC. Kyle, can FC Naples get it right? Can he get back on track, or can Greenville finally right their ship?
I
like FC Naples in this matchup.
Yeah. I'm just still not 100% sure on Greenville.
Yeah. Like, I think FC Naples do a lot of things that are going to cause Greenville troubles, and that's playing on the wings and being quick in transition.
I feel like Naples is doing what Greenville did in the past, but better. Right now. Like, I'm not saying that, not at Greenville's peak, but I think Naples does what Greenville does, but better.
Yeah. Greenville just defensively doesn't feel stable to me. As they have been in the past. So yeah, I'm leaning more so FC Naples in this one. Next game up, Richmond versus Texoma. How you feel, Kyle?
I'm going to say Richmond. Like,
Yeah,
Texoma's doing a better job, but I think on the road, and I think Richmond is going to have more. I think they'll find more pockets of space to take it at. I'll say Richmond.
Yeah, Chandler Dwyer will be back. I don't know if Emmy will be back, but if they can keep the same defensive principles they had against North Carolina FC and not allow, if they can take care of the opportunities that Texoma presents them, Richmond can win this game.
Yeah.
If Richmond is not clinical, Texoma can sneak out here with a draw. And I feel like Texoma is going to be like, if we get a draw in this, cool.
We're good. Yeah.
Like let's pack it up.
Take our point and go home.
Right. Like, if it's not there, we ain't going to force it. If it is, let's take it. Because, I mean, they got a good little home stretch coming up after that where they're going to probably feel more positive about trying to pick up points against, like, Tormenta. They play Charlotte tough and then Phoenix and the Jägermeister. I feel like here they're like, all right, let's get a draw, go on home and call it. And I think Texoma hasn't won a game on the road yet this year. They have 2 draws, 1 loss. Where at home they have 2 wins. Yeah. So, yeah, it'd be hopefully they can do it. Well, hopefully Richmond can do it, not Texoma. We want Richmond up the roofs. Westchester versus One Knox. Kyle, 2 teams that we were more high on the start of the year. I think we're starting to cool on, just given how results are going. Neither team has won in their last 5 games altogether overall. How do you feel about this one? Will Penchester get another pin?
Yes. 2-1. 88th minute penalty for Westchester.
Oh my God. I mean, Westchester started off the year and we were like, oh, okay. And then that defense then showed up. Well, it didn't show up. It's not there. But
if you look at the last couple games, they've allowed 2 goals, 1, 3, 3, 4.
Yeah. And this, I will say this. Not like I'm predicting the next game, but let's just say Union Omaha wins. And Westchester loses, Westchester is going to be at the bottom of the table.
I was going to say them and Tormenta. Oh, no, they would be at the bottom because Tormenta at least has 2 wins.
Yeah. So it'd be kind of be tougher there in New York. So, yeah. I mean, I like a draw in this game. I like a draw.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a 2-1 late
2-1.
Westchester penalty because of course.
But I think we both agree there will be a pin for Westchester.
Oh, yeah. They will absolutely get a penalty.
Yeah, they got to get their pin. All right. A little bit of is it fair to call this a derby between Tormenta and Charlotte?
No, not going that far.
Yeah. So yeah, Tormenta and Charlotte's coming up. How do we feel about this one?
I'm going to say this is my chaos game of the week, and I will say Charlotte will win.
Okay. Something about this game is telling me Tormenta.
Yeah,
something about this game, and I don't know what it is.
That's fair.
Honestly, that is the perfect recipe for chaos. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'll go with another draw here. Tormenta and Charlotte.
Fair.
I feel like there's something there, man. I don't know what it is, but it's something there. Fort Madison, Union Omaha is going to be on Galazzo. Kyle, I'm pretty sure you're going to be there at the game. Fort Madison has 5 straight draws. Union Omaha has not won in their last 5 games.
Oh, no. Fort Madison doesn't have 5 straight draws. They have 6 straight draws.
Oh, 6 straight. Oh, ooh.
God. Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah.
Kyle, how you feeling? Is it going to be 7?
1-1 draw until proven otherwise. Fuck it.
I gotta ask. I gotta ask now. I feel like I ask this question every year around this time. Is there any pressure on Matt Glazer's seat?
I feel like technically,
Given the roster and the amount of money into that squad?
I will say not yet, because he still has the luxury of trying to use the injury card. I'm saying I'm looking at it realistically, and no, because he's going to use the injuries as his reason. I don't agree.
Okay.
I'm also not saying he's on the hot seat, but I do think something needs to change, or results need to start getting better. So me personally, I'm saying not yet, but if they go another couple, like 2-3 matches, it's gonna have to, that seat might have to get a little bit warmer.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll see you there. Union Omaha, I feel like somebody has to win this game to get this life right.
You would think that.
Yeah.
But can you confidently say either of these teams? That's the thing. That's why I keep going back to the draw, because like there is nothing.
Because the last time y'all played on the third was a draw, right? It was 0-0.
It was a 0-0 draw where there was, I think, one shot on target the whole game.
And the thing is, the last 3 games between y'all have been draws. I mean, the Jäger Cup game, there was pins, but it was still a draw.
Well, that one had a lot more goals. But the thing that is like, the only positive with Madison is, despite these strings of draws, it seems as though they are at least in a better. They look better, but they're still getting draws. I'm still saying 1-1 draw because, yeah.
And I'm gonna go draw. It just feels like a draw.
Yeah,
feels like a draw. All right, last game to close it out. AV Yalta going against Spokane Velocity. The death of 1,000 passes versus Real Spokane. How you feel about this one? Can AV Yalta pull off the upset?
Yes.
Oh, what?
I'm calling it. Because what would be the most AV Yalta thing is to look like, I feel like this is gonna be the opposite AV Yalta game, where they're not gonna have much of the ball. They're not gonna look like they're capable of doing anything, and they're gonna get like a 2-1 win.
Well, the last time they played, it was 2-1, but it was in Spokane favor. They had 66% possession and 8 shots on target.
You know what? This is my vibes. Give me AV Yalta. Wow. This is the Lulu coming in. I'm just gonna say that right now.
All righty. That's wow. I'm gonna go Spokane. That's
the more logical decision.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. I think my chaos game of the week is Westchester 1-0. I think my fault. Tormented Charlotte. I think the vibes game.
Yeah, I would agree with Tormented Charlotte being the chaos.
I think Greenville and FC Naples. I think that's going to be a pretty open matchup to watch there.
Chattanooga, Portland, a sneaky dark horse for chaos.
Yeah. All right. So I think next week I got the quick clicks. So I'll figure out what topic we'll talk about. We might talk about some of the top goalkeepers or who I have in my coach of the year rankings. We'll see. But Kyle, anything else from you, my good man, before we wrap up this show?
Happy Pride Month. I would say the biggest thing. We are about pride. If you're not about pride, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. What the people do in their bedrooms have no effect on you, nor your taxes, as much as people try to lie to you. It doesn't affect you. Mind your business, grease your hair, drink your water. That's it. So outside of that, be nice to people, enjoy yourself, and as always, make sure you like, share, subscribe to Walkin' 90 on Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube. We want to say thank you as always for loving the show as much as we love you guys. You guys be easy and be safe. And with that being said, for Eb, for Kyle, Chip, and myself, we will holler at you guys soon, where we will be talking more about this stupid league of ours that is just full of chaos, despair, and hope.
Bye.